Alright guys, I'm going to try to be as brief as possible because I know for a lot of you the blood from your brain is already running to the stomach. I mean, it's happening for me right now, so to digest that food. Patrick, I'm going to need you to work this.
Oh, just open it. You want me to
It's open. Primus is working.
Yeah, why don't you set it
turn
up
on the
right
TV too.
Don't turn the TV on yet.
Do you want to pass that to me, Primus?
But Patrick's got to do it faster. Okay, as Patrick said that we are running a gold and silver business, and before I even talk about it, I kind of wanted to hit the history of why we are here, where we are in our economy. I'm going to throw some dates out to you guys, and then I'll make it all make sense in a bit. In 1944, there was the World War. I don't know, was anybody around that time? When Hitler was... I mean, not to give away your age, but I want to say...
He's starting off on a good foot.
I wonder if you guys got a glimpse of Hitler or whatever the case was. Okay, so there was a world war going on in 1944, and simultaneously there was a meeting held in the U.S. where 175 countries came together, and they started realizing just as they're combating physical war, they also needed to take care of a global economy. And at that time, the U.S. was deemed to be the strongest economy, so they all signed up on a petition to make the U.S. dollar something called reserve currency. So that means if you're trading in anything huge like oil or anything, you would have to do it in the U.S. dollars. This is one of the reasons why we're so wealthy in Canada, being the neighbors to the U.S. What they didn't realize was 1945 the war would be over. So in a way we're glad that we're in Canada because we benefited, because all the countries now realize, wait a minute, the war is finished. But the U.S. dollar was still in power. As time went on, they established the gold standard. Does anybody know what the gold standard is? Well, basically what the gold standard was you couldn't trade, I think it was about 10% above what you had in gold. And this is why countries are so poor, because the third world countries didn't have gold. And so they would have to borrow from the IMF. But the US and all these big countries, they had a lot of gold. So they were able to trade 10 to 20% above what they actually had. And this is how dollars came into the country. This is how dollars went out of the country. 1971 is a very important date because Richard Nixon removed the gold standard, basically saying that you can print money out of anything. And this is why economies crash, because your dollar is not backed by something solid. And this is interesting. I'm gonna get into a little controversy. As a result of that, China went ahead and started pumping money into your economy, because anytime you pump money into your economy, the dollar goes down. This is why we're here today where everything is going to China, because it's cheaper, and our jobs and everything. And so China was gaining a lot of US currency. So now I'm going to fast forward to today. Did anybody know what gold was about when we met 10 years ago? Does anybody remember the price of an ounce of gold? It was about $200. Yes. Do you guys know what it is? 8 something.
12? It's already over 1,000.
Erin, why don't you tell them what it is?
$1,400.
$13.80 now. It closed around $1,400 last week.
Right.
It's no longer $200 an ounce.
It's no longer $200 an ounce. So, how it got to that price, I mean, I think a year ago it was about $800. And I was even thinking of investing then. I wish I did. How it got to that price was China, which had the largest amount of US currency, which around the world is accepted as the reserve currency, started buying a lot of gold. And the investors got wind of that and go, why are they doing that? And gold went through the roof. This is why we're here today. This is why gold is so much. Now, as we speak, there's a meeting held in the US, which is trying to get back the dollar to the gold standard. And here's why that makes sense. Did you guys notice there's a lot of commercials about bringing your gold for cash? If President Obama came out and had a news conference and said, citizens, turn in your gold for cash, what would happen? It'd be a panic. right? But what happens is people with knowledge, they filter it through. So now Money Mart, like Money Mart, you go there for money. They're asking for your gold. Irwin had an article that talked about a banks holding gold party, which you show up with your gold and
Yeah,
they give you...
at TD, United Way, they came in and...
Exactly. Because if the dollar does go back to the gold standard, who has the most gold is on top. And this is one of the reasons why Patrick and I started looking into this. Now, I'm going to fly back. Did you guys see that movie, Vantage Point? Has anybody seen Vantage Point? Vantage Point is a movie where they kept flying back. Hey, see, there's Chris in the background. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I was annoyed at that movie until the end because what he kept doing was flying backwards and forwards. So I'm going to fly back again. 1836. This was called the Hobby of Kings. In 1836, an industry started emerging called numismatics. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. Numismatics is the study and collection of money. So people actually were doing this for years before 1836, but 1836 is when they actually started trading back and forth. Just the collection, not spending, but just the collection of money. It went on for years, but in 1951, what would happen is, if I'm a dealer that I want to buy money and you have some money, I would tell you, well, let me see your money. Oh, yeah, this is worth 50 bucks here. And then I go to my store and sell it for 500 because there was no regulation. And so because of that, something was called the Sheldon scale was born. What the Sheldon scale was the grading of coins. Now, Irwin, do you have bullion coins with you?
I did not bring.
You didn't get bullion coins? Okay.
I have my.
Patrick, get me a tune. I don't have any bullion coins on me. But make sure it's Patrick because you're not gonna get it back somehow. Now, real quickly, this is something called a legal tender, right? This is a toonie.
Yeah.
And in this toonie, it's I think it's nickel and some silver and some copper. This also, by the way, is legal tender. This is produced by government mints around the world. This one is from Australia. Now, what the numismatic industry does is it has a lot of people just collecting these. That's all it started as, collecting these. And what happened is, as they started collecting these coins, people started seeing value in it. And then it started trading. Once they started trading these coins, it went up to $100 billion a year of just these coins and money, just trading. And I bet a lot of people didn't know about it. We didn't know about it. When it was first introduced to me, I said, what is numismatic coins? But as I started diving into the industry, I started realizing that a lot of people do this. Some of the advantages of it, really, it's, as I was speaking with Patrick's dad the other day, it's a tax write-off because it comes from the government. Man, if you hold a lot of these, you own businesses or you're in a higher tax bracket, you can actually write it off against your collection. Now, this is actual money. This is actual wealth, right? This is the most amazing thing. And if you can have a lot of this in your portfolio, this is a big write-off. Now, the beautiful thing that we have is we have a way that we actually hold these and make money off of it. And this is what Patrick, myself, Irwin, Kwame, you know, is involved in. And you know, we'll give you more information about that. Just want to do quickly of how we do that. Patrick, can you pull this up for me? I'm going to get you to be my click guy. It's in,
Are you connected to the TV?
Or maybe,
Sorry. Okay, I'll take care of that.
yes, please.
Everybody always does that.
Okay. One of the, what we're involved in is something called Numis Network. And what Numis Network does is it pioneers the marketing of gold and silver numismatic coins. Put it in the TV and then just broaden this in. No, I'm not going to do a slideshow. I want to go to certain. What did you say you had the clicker?
Stephanie, should we take the pie out? Sorry? Should we take the pie out? It's short. Yeah.
You do. Get down to Robert Trey's house. You'll see it.